Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We start with the Old Town team. And boys, we've talked about this in the last few weeks, buyers or sellers. But the Boston Red Sox have the best record in all of baseball in the month of July. They're 1.5 games, one game out of the loss column to the wild card spot, where I would see, in my opinion, conservative buyers looking to the present, but addressing the future. Russ, we always start with you. What are the Red Sox as we speak?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the right phrase, Scotty. Conservative buyers or surgical buyers and sellers, meaning send stuff out that you can afford to give up, but bring stuff back that you can use this year, right? So instead of sending Duvall out for, 3 AAA prospects or double A or single A, send Duvall out and try to get a fifth starter or another reliever, or package him with Dahlbeck to get a third, whatever. But bring something back that gives this team a chance to compete this year.
Yeah. Joe, if you look at the standings right now, it's completely changed in the American League East. Tampa has tanked for quite a while now. Orioles in first place, but the Red Sox, who were 15 games out of first place just less than a month ago, are now out 7. That's still doable. And when everybody's beating each other up, you got to go for it, right, Joe?
Oh, yeah, and especially with the Yankees in the rearview mirror, you got to put some more space behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of with Russ. We are getting back some frontline players in Whitlock, Houck, Story, even Nana, and so they can afford to be a little conservative on what they're buying. They can go for quality rather than quantity. No more of this give Duvall for 4 single A players or Dahlbeck for 2 double A 25th and 26th prospect from a team. They can afford to put something together that get something that they can use next year too.
Yeah, look, I mean, Joe, you make a great point. 5 guys who are currently on a roster that has had the best record in July will be off the team when the guys you just named come back. So there isn't a whole lot of flexibility to add too many more players. Again, priority, Russ, obviously, you can't keep on doing this relief.
Well, they can get rid of some of those middle infielders. They got about 8, subpar middle infielders between AAA and the major league club. They're just loaded with lousy middle infielders.
Yeah, that's
so Scotty, I got a question for you. You try to trade Duvall and maybe Dahlbeck or something, and one of the infielders, and you get a 4th starter, 5th starter. That's as good as you're going to get, right? Would you, if you had a chance to get more like a 2nd or 3rd starter who was under control for this year and maybe another year, would you trade Nick York?
Oh, it's a great question now, because Mayer is coming. That is happening. I mean, he's going to be the shortstop next year.
No, he's not. He's hitting 200 down there. He's the worst hitter on the team.
Joe, for God's sake, Joe.
He's having trouble adjusting. Give him another year, for God's sake.
Joe. I need Scotty to answer. Scotty, I need you to answer my question before you get into a fist fight with Joe. So can you answer my question?
Yes, I've been thinking about that. Nick York may not have a spot on this team. Story is your second baseman for the next couple of years. He's probably the guy right now. Remember, he had a down year last year. So he's probably right now at his peak value. He's not something special. He's not a Mayer. If you get a second, like you said, you go pawn him off to the A's for a controlled second starter. Oh, my God.
Right.
Seconds I would add.
That's what you do, right? Yeah.
Oh, and I would do that. That would be the steal of a century.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a quality major leaguer for an iffy guy in the bushes.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to package some other stuff up, but like that just seems to be if Chaim wanted to do something a little bit more aggressive, pick a couple of their farm system players who you think their value is high, but you don't see them as necessarily being, star everyday players, and see what you can bring back. But bring back somebody who's under your control for a couple of years. Don't give me a rental for Nick York. I'm not interested in that. That would be
No.
stupid.
Yeah. Heim hasn't shown he's got any balls in the trading market. He's no Brad Stevens or even Bill Belichick or Sweeney. He hasn't shown he'll make that big move right now. Let's see. Maybe he can make the ballsy move at the.
Well, I got to finish with Joe. No, Joe's not getting out of this. Joe, you're going to
209. 209. It's not a small
Joe, you're
sample.
skating on thin. You're skating
it's 3
on thin
months
ice.
into the season.
You're skating on thin ice as far as commenting on any more minor leaguers because
The worst batting average on the team.
Oh my God. Oh,
last.
if
last.
If I could go back in the tapes, who's been trashing Tristan Casas the whole year? Who gets fixated?
No, I never trashed him. I said he's got to get the bat off his shoulder.
Oh my God!
Look at him. He stopped that, and what was my other criticism? That stupid check swing on every freaking pitch. He stopped that. Now he's playing. That
has nothing to do with Tristan Casas and his progression. What do you think? He was going to come up to the major leagues and be a star? You were fixated with the batting average. People don't even talk about batting averages anymore.
Well, now he's still batting 240. He's batting 240.
He's batting actually like 260. Joe, you don't see that Tristan Casas is a star and will be other than.
Oh, I think he will be in time.
Okay. Oh, what up? Oh, Russ. Come on, Joe. Oh, I don't know. Russ.
Oh yeah, it's Joe. Mine said it was the signal was getting iffy. Too. Joe, I had that designation.
Come on, Joe. Come on, stop it with the whole.
No, I'm fine with you're jumping the gun with Mayer, and you're bringing him up too soon, which has been Heim's problem all the last few years. Bringing guys up too soon. Mayer needs at least 2 years.
Oh, all right. Oh my.
Look, I'll say it best late next year. Late next year.
I love
can I?
You got to.
I know. So can I say that I would split the difference. I don't think Mayer will be their starting shortstop.
We lost him again.
And
it's always tricky there by the Blue Hills.
You got me, Scotty?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
All right. So I don't think Mayer is going to be the starting shortstop in April. I think he could be the starting shortstop in June or July for sure. So I don't think it's 2 years. I think it's within that next year. I'm not sure he'll start in April. All I know is, Joe, we got to give Scotty some credit. And you know how I feel about doing that. It pains me to do that. I mean, my kidney hurts when I have to say this, but he was right about Casas this year. And he was right about Duran. Like, he's stuck with the young guys. Casas has been one of the best players in baseball for the last, month and a half?
Yeah. Duran is top 10 in baseball in the last couple of months.
Well, first of all, thank you, Russ. I know how hard that was. And
I'm going to have my kidney removed. I'm going to have one of my kidneys.
Well, this is what the point I'm trying to make
to
Scotty. If you bring him up too early, like Duran, this is Duran's third time up, and this time he made it.
Okay.
Sometimes you bring them up too early and you retard their development rather than promote them.
No, that's absolutely true, Joe. But based on what we're seeing over a course of almost a whole season, would you agree that Tristan Casas, there has to be pain when you bring these guys up, was brought up at the right time? They gave him a little taste last year. And obviously he struggled in April, but since May 1st, he's one of the best first basemen in baseball. So
I think he hasn't. We have to understand that he's been, the organization didn't have any other first baseman. He was going to have to be it.
No,
but growing pains.
So
he was going to have his growing pains one way or the other.
But Russ, they didn't rush him. He went through the growing pains, but his development has been such that.
And he played internationally, and he just showed that he had command of the strike zone, and
that especially.
And if Mayer shows he's got command of the strike zone, can get through. Look, to Joe's point, though, he's got to get himself out of a 209 slump. Like if he ends I think Scotty, you'd say if he spends the rest of the year struggling to hit 210, 220, you don't bring him up to the majors. You start him in AAA next year, right? Like he's got
the Arizona Fall League. So
yeah, he has to show that, like Duran has, which has been my point all along. These guys got to show that they can pull themselves out of slumps, right?
A little
Pedroia
adversity.
did that. Right. Pedroia did that his rookie year. I was calling him all sorts of names, right? And that son of a gun pulled himself out of the depths of baseball misery. Duran has done it this year. Cassis has done it. If Mayer can show that he can pull himself out of that and hit 270 in August, okay, great. Then he's on the right track.
I agree, and I know he's very young, and if he has to have more seasoning, of course. But we're seeing that the success at the Woo Sox or lack of success doesn't mean you're not going to go up to the majors and play well. I think
Right.
Chris Murphy's a great example this year. Chris Murphy was a 7 earned run
Bobby Dahlbeck
at Woo Sox. He comes up and he's been pretty much lights out.
Yeah, but Mayer's got to do well in Portland. Like he's got to figure Portland out, right?
Yes.
I mean, we can, right?
Rafaela is, by the way, is hitting 315, stealing bases and everything. But there is a glut at the outfield position right now for the Red Sox. So we might see some trades in the offseason.
If you traded Nick York, can't Rafaela play second base?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was a rumor
that we're in on this De Jong from St. Louis. I don't want any part of a guy like that. He's got a big contract for a couple of years after this, like $12 million. I don't know why the Red Sox would.
Well, he would be under their control.
The second base.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The big rumor right now is that they're in on Jordan Montgomery. If you remember, pitched for the Yankees. He's actually a pretty solid lefty. Reminds me
pitcher.
of like a Drew Pomeranz.
Yeah.
Pomeranz, a big kid.
Yep.
But he's a free agent after this year too. So, which I checked.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really give up. He'd be a rental, and maybe a guy you'd want to sign. Before the end of the season. I also ask the White Sox and the Angels made a crazy deal yesterday.
I thought the Angels made out pretty good there. Huh?
No, the Angels gave up their two of the top 70 prospects in baseball for a mid-level rental starter and
Giolito.
Yeah, he's pretty good though. Like I bet you he's a pretty good pitcher.
Could we have gotten that for Paxton?
Maybe might still.
I don't think Chicago's interested in rentals.
No, Chicago's no, they don't.
Yeah, they're looking for prospects.
Gave the Angels. They're the ones who gave the rentals to
the White Sox traded the Angels a veteran pitcher. And
they don't want
prospects
Paxton.
Back. So Scotty, not to the White Sox, but your point is, should the Red Sox trade Paxton, whether we're in it or not, for two good prospects? That's
if
your
you
question.
got that right, if you got that kind of package, and this was, they weight the trade, and it was like 4 times the value that the White Sox get back as opposed to the Angels. If someone blows you away, I think you got to do it, right?
I don't know. You can't go into the playoffs without your number one pitcher, and he's been their number one pitcher this year.
Paxton Bellows been their number one pitcher.
I would say if it came to an opening day, Cora would pitch Paxton.
Oh, that's a great take. That's a hot take. That's interesting. I would have thought Bello.
No, you wouldn't throw the rookie in like that. How often do you see that? Rare.
Do you think a wild card game that Paxton would start?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
you do.
I agree.
Yeah, with Bello coming out of the bullpen.
No. He'd be available to come out of the bullpen.
Yeah, but you'd be throwing Whitlock and whoever else is behind him. Yeah, but I would. By the way, I would start Paxton too. I just think it's a lot to ask a rookie to pitch a winner takes all, play-in game, and now, by the way, there's another few months of the season. If Bayo gets better and Paxton gets worse, then obviously you go with your best pitcher. But
that what probably would be a day game, and Bayo is 0-4 in day games.
Well, looks like Heim did pretty well by getting anything more than broken bats for Kike, who
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was amazed at how much the Dodgers gave up. I know they were just their 25th and 28th like prospect, but that was more than I expected for Kike.
well, first of all, Dodgers figured right, probably correctly, that they'd get a lot of Kike love, and he played for them well and stuff. So
Right.
he had more
Right.
value to them than any team in the league.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Well, he stepped in and got 2 hits last night. I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
Right, hit the ground running.
But that's a nice deal. And, that's the
Yeah.
kind of thing that Heim does well, that those fringy deals, that's how he got Pavetta, on the Workman and the Hembry deal. So he kind of does well with that stuff. Would you agree?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Let's give him some love. I'm not going to make this a love fester, but that Bernardino, wow. I mean, this guy has been
He
a
has
star
done very
reliever
well
for
this
us
year. I gotta
at
say,
minimum.
in everything they've asked of him, set up, closer, opener,
Look,
everything
my
they've given
issue
him.
with Heim isn't the stuff he does at the margins. My issue with Heim is the more important stuff that he does. That's when he, I just don't think he's got the nerve for it, or is trying to, be all things. Like he's trying to get his cake and eat it too, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Last year he ended up with neither.
Okay, so I think
Right.
we would agree Duvall needs to go for some need on the roster.
yeah, whatever the best thing you can get for him,
Yeah.
right?
One of the lefties has to go. I'd like to see Blyer
Yeah.
out the door.
Yeah,
It's way too heavy with left-handed relievers.
yeah. Well, you'll have Hauk and Whitlock back, so you'll be putting 2 guys into the pitching staff, and probably 2 lefties will go, right?
Do we
At
really?
least one's gone.
Whitlock never needs to never needs to start a game ever again.
Does Schreiber have any more options? He's been terrible since he came back.
No, he's
I'm not sure. Yeah, but he'll
twice.
pitch. They'll pitch
All
his.
right.
They'll give him a chance to pitch his way into it. He's only
Yeah, he got
pitched
pulled.
twice,
He
right?
pitched twice and got pulled twice.
Yeah, but
No, he's
give him a
fine.
chance.
Schreiber's a good pickup.
Oh yeah, it's that unusual arm slot that usually carries him.
Yeah, he's a good 6th inning guy. Just pitch in the 6th inning. You got
Yeah.
Martin in the 8th. You got Jansen in the 9th. I do think that if you had Whitlock in the 7th, I think you're pretty set and then you put Hauk back in the starting rotation and get one more starter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what you do. That's what you try
that
to
sounds
do.
like a good formula. And if Heim's going to want to use that $30 million Nana sale if he
Kick
comes
him
back,
to the
they're
fucking
going to
curb.
use him no matter
I'm
what.
sorry for the language, but kick him to the curb. I can't take. Just get rid of Nana. He poisons the waters. Right?
It's a waste of time even talking about the guy. He'll come back. He'll have 3 starts. The Red Sox media complex will start talking about how he's the best pickup, on the trade deadline, and it'll hurt his elbow, right?
Yep.
And then we're gonna have to listen to all of it again, right?
Yeah. Oh, he said this is a guy who's making $30 million a year that he'll do anything to get back on the team. He'll pitch an inning.
Whatever.
Oh my
He'll
God.
ride his bike into a streetcar.
So how about this though? I have to mention this before we leave the Red Sox. Shohei Ohtani pitched a complete game 1 hitter today in the first game of a doubleheader, and then hit 2 home runs in the second game.
Oh God. I know. He's
And the Angels swept.
he's so far above any major league player, right?
Yeah.
He has
How
38
could you
home
vote
runs.
for anyone else for MVP? How?
You could vote for him as an MVP as a hitter, and you could
Cy
vote him
Young.
as an MVP for the pitcher.
Cy Young too.
Is he
Wouldn't
the
that be
greatest
fun?
player of all time?
Babe Ruth.
I mean, he's the best player. I mean, I haven't watched him play enough, and I'm going to try to watch him play more. But he's the best player I've ever seen, right? Like, now the thing about it is, he doesn't have the best career yet by a wide
Oh, yeah.
margin. But in terms of like what this guy can do in a baseball field, have you ever seen anybody better?
No.
And don't you think that deal last night was to kind of tell him, hey, we'd like to put guys around it. Just re-sign with us.
That's exactly what that was. How can you let Ohtani go? You'd have to you'd fold the franchise. If you're the Angels, what are we even business for if you let arguably the greatest
You
player
have to
of all
outbid
time
everybody.
leave?
Maybe you trade Mike Trout.
You have to outbid everybody. You have to try to outbid everybody. And look, they're in the race. They're 5 games above 500. I mean, you don't trade Ohtani when you're 5 games. They're 3 games out of a wild card.
Yeah.
They're
What are
two
you
games
doing?
behind the Red Sox.
Why are you even? Again, I asked the question, Russell. Why are you in business if you trade Ohtani?
You're
not in the baseball
It's
business. You're in
stupid,
the
right. I mean,
professional sports.
you don't let a guy like that go. So
No.
we know what it's like to let a star player go, and it just sticks in your craw. I mean, Mookie Betts, should have been a Red Sox forever, and the same with Ohtani. You don't let those guys go.
Scotty, you have never forgiven the Red Sox for the John Lester.
No, never. No, not right. Absolutely. You don't give away star players, especially in this town who can play in this town. You don't give them away. But in the flip side, at the very least, it looks like Connor Wong, who I also mentioned, if you remember the text early in the season, I said Wong's a player.
Scotty loves himself some Wong, man. I mean, we all know that.
I know.
Well, and to Wong's credit, he's getting played to death, and he's coming up strong here late in the season. Remember, usually catches fall apart right about now.
Scotty
he's hanging in there.
Loves it when Wong is strong.
I love when Wong goes all night long.
Yeah.
No.
That was a huge play, him throwing out that kid.
Oh, don't say huge. Oh, no. Even I stay away from huge Wong. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah. Off the rails. Off the rails.
Completely. But Wong has. I still see Wong. Look, I think Wong's a pretty good player. I still don't see him as the starter. Is that just me?
Well, remember, the catchers, they just take a long time. So, by the way, he may get better and better for the next 2 or 3 years. And if he does, he's definitely a starting catcher.
Yeah,
they have problems. He's not a problem on this team right now. Like, that is not a problem you need to solve, right?
But Joe, he is some return for the Betts deal. So, and Verdugo obviously has been a above average player for quite a while.
And Wong is an everyday player for the Red Sox, so they've got 2 everyday players out of the deal.
It's not like you got nothing for Betts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was, and the irony is when that
Jeter Downs was the only stinker.
But he was supposed to be the marquee guy in that deal. And
wasn't it? Verdugo was kind of the guy.
No. It ended up Jeter Downs was, because of the whole potential. But it was totally misread. Heim totally misread the whole Jeter Downs thing. That Jeter Downs was the main part of a Betts deal, and that he basically is out of the league now and never really played in the major leagues. It's a complete misread. Those guys have to be slam dunk.
Yeah.
And that's where
That's exactly right.
Because if Jeter Downs was your starting second baseman right now, then we had 3 starters, cost control.
Yeah, then that trade looks different, right?
Yeah. Looks completely different. All right, so prediction, because after next time we did the show, the deadline will be over. Big splash, medium splash, no splash. Uncle Joe.
Well, between no splash and medium splash, doesn't look like Heim has it in him to make a big splash. And this is a tough stretch they got coming up. What do they got? The Giants and Seattle.
Anytime they go on the West Coast. All right, so Joe has just a medium splash. Russell?
Medium. I think he'll make a solid medium splash, because I think he knows that, in some ways, the fact that they're decent, right now could cost him his job, right? So he's got to be sitting there saying, if I don't do anything to help this team get over the hump, and we miss the playoffs, and people look back again and that I've not done my job, how much longer can he expect to keep his job?
Yeah, look, and the Red Sox have had great success this year with the top tier teams. So,
Yeah.
look, you get out of that one game wild card and all bets are off. Red Sox have as much a chance as anyone to win a World Series. Would you agree?
Well, Cora's a good manager in the playoffs. I think he's a very aggressive, very uh, solid manager. He works this roster. It's not a great roster, and he plays it like a fiddle.
I'll tell you that Justin Turner, I love him. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be earlier in the season. I thought he was Jack Clark times two.
Yeah.
And he's played every position too.
But the guy
That play he made last night was terrific, right?
Yeah. And then he had the clutch hit. He had the winning hit.
First base, second base, third base, outfield. He's played them all.
So I don't care how well JD Martinez is doing in LA. I would have traded this kind of production, the job Turner's done over whatever JD's done out west. Wouldn't you agree?
JD only had maybe one clutch hit all last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heim's mistake last year was not getting rid of JD
him quick enough.
Trading deadline. That just that was a fireable offense, and not getting under the luxury tax. All right, we'll go to the Celtics, and Russell was right there representing the Grandstanders for the biggest moment of the off season for the Celtics, the signing of the Supermax by Jaylen Brown, $304 million. Russell, tell us the atmosphere there at MIT for the press conference.
Oh, it was great. He was upstairs with his whole foundation. There were dozens of kids, maybe close to 100 kids, and he was with them all day, multiple days. And you wouldn't have known that it was a surprise that the press conference was going to be at MIT. And but all the brass came in, and there was a big jolt of energy, and all the kids. So half of the audience were the kids, and then the other half were the media. So it was legitimate. Like it's a really strong commitment that he has to the mission and to the kids in the program. It's cool to see. Yeah. Right.
Joe, obviously Jaylen Brown right now is the highest paid player in the NBA, but we know that
he's the right place at the right time more than anything else.
Right.
But
that's right.
I think it comes at a good time. It validates his new leadership position with the team, with Marcus Smart gone and Big Mouth Grant gone. Now I think the two Jays can rightfully take their their leadership position. And it looks like Jaylen Brown is ready to jump into that role.
Look, they had to keep him. They can't trade him for a year. Why all of a sudden, Russ, did we sign this guy and everybody wants to talk about trading him?
Well, that's all about the CBA, right? They're gonna as of now, they're gonna be above that second apron next year, and that brings serious restrictions. It's not just financial. You really are stuck. You can't do much to your team at that point in time. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to trade Brown or Porzingis, but it does mean that for almost certainly Brogdon won't be here next year, so they can get under that second apron. But then that following year is when Tatum's extension starts. And I think that's that following year where you're going to need to pick two of the three. It's hard to imagine that Brown, Porzingis, and Tatum will be on the team in 2 years.
Yeah. Because why? You just won't be able to have a supporting cast.
Yeah.
You'd have those three guys and a bunch of basically minimum contract guys. And I think my guess is one of the reasons why Brad got Porzingis is if Porzingis stays healthy and plays well, that does free you up to trade Jaylen if that's the best way to get under that second apron.
Yeah.
No, so explain to me. So you're saying that if we continue on, have to sign, Tatum to the big contract, that we have to trade White, that we.
No, we don't have to, but our ownership doesn't have the deep pockets of like the LAs, the Phoenixes out there on the West Coast. The Golden States, they don't have it. They're renters. Remember, the Bruins own the Garden. They don't even have, they just rent. They're not deep pocketed like the West Coast guys.
And I agree with that. And it's not just money. There are real serious punishments now in the CBA for being over the second apron. You have to trade. You can't trade two guys for one. All your trades have to be 1-for-1. You can't take any more money back in a trade than you traded out, right?
Mid-level
You go down the
exception
line,
gone.
right? All your mid-level exception is gone. So you go down the line, and the net effect of it is it's almost impossible to improve your team once you hit that second apron. Now, they probably can keep Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, and White for like 1 year, but you're just going to get into a territory where, somebody has to go.
Well, you assume
That's
it's
just
gonna
the way
be
it's going to
The
be.
days of 3 Supermax guys on one team.
Well,
Has
you
kinda
would
gone
assume.
now.
I mean, I'm sure, Scotty, that they would prefer that. Yeah, we can deal Porzingis,
Yeah.
but remember, Brown is going to make twice what Porzingis is going to be making a year from now. And if Porzingis plays like a number 2 player on a championship team, you're looking at being able to trade Jalen, and I don't want to trade him, but you're looking at being able to trade 4 to 5 years of Jalen for and get a raft of value back.
I want the
if you think Porzingis can be number 2.
I'd take that Rudy Gobert deal right now for Jalen.
Oh, most people would.
Maybe.
But I don't think that
know.
one's coming down the pike anytime
No,
soon.
I don't think that one's coming down the
That
pike
has been
either.
so roundly criticized that no one's going
Yeah.
to stick their neck out like that again.
Yeah, you would think so.
Anytime soon, anyways.
Damn it. Well, look, we said no one would ever do something like the deal with Garnett and Pierce and Danny Ainge somehow.
Well, that was McHale.
10 years later. I know, but look, that deal was just crazy. Look, they're all in. Like the Bruins were all in this year. Celtics are all in now. This year, even greater than what
They were all in last year too, I thought.
Well, I think even greater. I mean, somehow yes, they were all in last season, Joe. But wouldn't you say greater now? They're spending more money.
I think even Rob Williams is feeling the pressure. You see lots of things of him practicing offense and defense. He hasn't played defense since he got here.
Celtics have would you agree the Celtics have the most star power in the NBA now?
Oh yeah.
Golden State still got the old hang on, Golden State's
everybody
still got
knows.
Incredible star power. And by the way, Phoenix has incredible star power.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I guess right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I'm again now all of a sudden I wanted Beal a couple of years ago, but I feel like Beal is going to be a big bust.
Yeah. I would rather have Porzingis than Beal.
Undersized point guards, no thank you.
I'd rather
we had Kemba, we had
Brad did,
we don't need any more.
To Joe's point earlier, Brad did what Chaim has not been able to do, which is Brad took a look at this thing and took a risk because they have a higher ceiling, but they also have a lower floor right now. That's just it. That's just they if everyone's healthy, they should be one of the top. I'd be so shocked if they're not one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the NBA because Porzingis will give you something but they could also be bad if a couple guys get hurt because they got a lot of injury risk in that team right now.
And not a lot of depth.
And I think we're all getting sick around here. 1-4 in the Eastern Conference Finals over the last half dozen years.
Yeah. You got to get over the hump.
You got to get into the finals again, and you got to win it. You got to win it.
Yep, they got to win it.
Does signing this contract make Jaylen Brown a better player?
Yes,
I hope so. Yeah. Look, it's this probably too deep in the weeds, but what's very interesting about by the way, he had a really good year last year. He had a bad playoffs, but a very good year. He was wildly efficient in 2-point range and not very efficient at 3.
Exactly.
And the Celtics lost a lot of corner threes with Smart and Grant Williams walking out the door. If I'm the Celtics, now that Jalen signed for a while and he's not under this pressure to be I would say to Jalen, you're gonna be in the 2-point range and be able to take a lot of like Kevin Durant shots, which he's great at. And then we want you in the corner for a corner three, because Porzingis doesn't take those and Tatum doesn't take those, and he could shoot 40% from the corner.
Yeah.
Jalen could.
Yeah, that pull-up floater in the lane. He's deadly with it.
Yeah.
Missoula talked
So
about,
that's what I'd like to see.
Missoula finally confirmed. Missoula, who did not, would you agree, did not handle Derek White well at all last year. Never figured out what he had. Said at the press conference that Russell was at, that White will be the starter at point guard.
Well, I think Marcus Smart was a little overbearing about demanding the playing time.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of overrode Missoula a lot.
It feels like they're going to give Jordan Walsh at least an opportunity to be in the rotation.
Yeah, if he can show that he can guard and not foul all the time, and if they play zone, by the way, there's been a lot of people calling for them to play zone because of their length, and you stick Jordan Welsh out at the front of a 2-3 zone for 5 minutes, he's gonna drive people bananas.
He's gonna exhaust them too. Remember,
right?
You can tire these point guards out. And Steph Curry I saw a video today. Steph Curry talks about when these guys play this tough defense, especially they greet him when they get the ball out. These guys get exhausted bringing that ball up when you have a guy like Jordan Walsh in your face. I think he's going to be the surprise of the camp. I think that they needed to replace Grant Williams, and I think they're going to give this guy as much opportunity to do that.
I wonder how his shot is, though.
Well, I mean, he's working on it.
He should be. He should be able to hit an open corner three.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a long season. He's going to get some shots. Guys are going to get injured. They're going to sit Jalen and Jason. They'll manage their minutes better, and he'll get some shots.
Who's the other?
We'll see.
Who's the other guy? The other wing that they picked
up?
Brissett.
O'Shea Brissett. Yeah, and he'll get his chances. And the question is, what does he do with them?
Yeah. Hey, before we leave the Celtics, Mike Gorman has announced that this will be his last year broadcasting. We've been blessed with some incredible legends as far as broadcasters. Of course, for the Celtics, no greater than Johnny Most. But Mike Gorman is up there in Mount Rushmore of broadcasters in this town in our lifetime. Would you agree?
Oh,
absolutely.
He's been there for a long time, too.
Yeah, just a
really career.
What a nice personality that guy's. Such a likable person.
Oh my God.
I mean, you could just tell. I've never met him, but you can tell he's as decent to the core as any person could be. And him and Tommy Heinsohn were incredible.
Gorman just loves what he does. He'll stay for hours after a game, signing autographs and talking to people.
Yeah, so that's going to be another. In our, we've grown up with Mike Gorman. I mean, he's been around there for what? 40 years, something close to that, right? I mean, he was there for Larry Bird.
Posey and Heinsohn.
Oh my God! So this will be the last season for Mike Gorman. It'll be a special time just to hear him for one last season. Hopefully, the Celtics can give him
all the more reason why they should win this year.
Got to win it for Mike Gorman, right? Oh my! Because when you think Mike Gorman, you think Tommy Heinsohn. It's that tree. So it should be a big season in the Boston Garden. All right, we go. The Patriots training camp started 2 days ago, and it's all about Mac Daddy all the time. Russell, what are you hearing about your crush?
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous to listen to these guys parse everything that he says and everything that Belichick says. It's like they're trying to read,
they read between the lines and invent whole new narratives.
God. It's ridiculous. You said yesterday, it's a fresh start. It is. It's a new year.
Yeah.
It's a new coaching staff. It is a fresh start.
Yeah.
Like, what's controversial about that?
Yeah.
They like you said, they pass every single word.
Oh, it's terrible.
Look, Sean Payton, I don't know if you heard his comments today. He said that the coaching staff from last year from the Denver Broncos was the worst coaching staff in the history of football.
Oh, really?
He's gone. I don't know if you heard it. He's gone off. He went off on the Jets too and said they always win the offseason.
Really?
but they'll be a terrible team. Oh yeah, I don't know. And also,
Wow.
this comes on me seeing a video of Sean Payton smoking from a bong with a bunch of 16-year-olders. So I don't know what's going on with Sean, but yeah. So, but it felt the moment
That New Orleans vibe.
yeah, the moment I read that comment, I'm like, okay, again, it was the same situation with the Patriots. It was just off the charts, bad coaching. The adults are back in the room. And everybody, even Judge is working with the special teams guys. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. So yes, it's a reboot for Mac Daddy. But again, he has to be good this year, or you can't waste too many more years with him.
But those guys,
I have a lot
quarterbacks
of
are hard to
confidence
come
in him.
by. That's for sure.
Right? I mean, right, Russell? I mean, this is his year.
He has to be. I mean, look, I expect him to do well, but if he doesn't do well, I'll be the first one to say, that's it. This is it. Like, he gets this year. There's no excuses.
If he,
Right.
it means many, many millions of dollars. If he does well this year, he gets an extension. If he doesn't
Yeah.
do well, then he's on the hook next year for maybe not even getting returned.
Was Jared
This is the
Duran
big
and
year.
Mac Jones parallel this year? Were they similar types
Kind of.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
right? That
Kind of.
either make
Yeah.
it or you're gonna sell insurance.
Yeah, I mean, and the hard part will be, we'll judge Mac every single game, every play. And the fact of the matter is, you probably, you're going to need to see 3, 4, 5 games out of him before you make a judgment, right? And just to get the plays, just get the repetitions in the system, and hopefully he does well enough. But what I worry about is, they're 1-3. He's playing, not great, and people just had it with him, right?
But
Look,
like you said, you do have to give him an early season break. The offensive line is going to be coming together and learning to play together. The receivers are all, there's quite a few new guys, with Juju and Jasicki and a couple of the guys they brought in. Who's to say there might be 4? And Tyquan Thornton didn't play at all last year, really. There's 4 or 5 new receivers basically on that.
look, Boston Red Sox fans, the diehards like us, we know our sports, we know our baseball. We know how to act at Fenway Park. Bruins, Celtics, the fans there know what's going on. Patriots, that all bets are off with the Patriots fans. He has a bad series, they're going to be screaming Dappy. It's that's a different. Would you agree? That's a different crowd than goes to the other 3 games.
It's a different crowd.
It's
a different crowd.
It's a tailgating crowd. They've been sitting there. They had to get up. They've been there 2-3 hours already. They left their house at least 2 hours ago, and probably 3 or 4.
Right. And they've warped expectations. We lived 20 years through Tom Brady, right? Just the expectations just get warped. Right.
Yeah.
Warped.
Right. So it's going to get weird over there. I mean, I thought it was so embarrassing when, they were chanting Zappy when Mac got hurt. I think that, would you agree that not all the Patriots fans are fans of the other teams?
Yeah. They think they're just a bunch of hardos, right? There's just this class of Patriots fan who it's just they're just
they've had
knuckleheads.
Season tickets for
Pats
25 years.
Pats fans only, and they'll jump on a bandwagon like the Bruins last year, or if the Celtics go to the playoffs, or if the Red Sox go to the playoffs, the Patriots fans are jumping right on there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they don't watch the regular season of any of those 3 sports.
They'll always remind you how many years they've had Patriots season tickets. Always.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Some of them, the biggest freaking bores of all time.
And most of them never went to any games. Of the 8 home games, they probably went to 2 and sold the rest.
So it's a different crowd there. So yeah, Russ, your point is well taken, but unfortunately, it's going to get ugly for Mac.
No, I think it will. I agree.
Yeah. Belichick.
And don't they have a very hard schedule coming out of the gate?
Again, Joe, that never bothers me. Again, the Patriots play well, they're going to win. Same with the Red Sox. It's not what the other team brings. It's whether our team plays well. And
Yeah, I agree.
it-
That makes sense.
look, Red Sox are infamous for losing to crappy teams all the time. And the Patriots do the same thing too. Belichick, lots of talk this week. I know it's just people need to fill time that he's on the hot seat. I actually agree with that.
How many games do you think he needs to win to keep his job? What you
I think
guys
he
would
needs to
say?
make the playoffs, whatever that may be. But I think making the playoffs probably is 10 this year. They're still playing 17, right?
Yep. So I think it'd be at least 11.
Hey, when are they going to 18? I thought they were.
The only time they'll go to 18 is when they expand the season and add an international.
Yeah, another bye week, right?
Oh,
They'll
I
have
thought
to,
there was
if
in that
if they go to
contract they were
18
going
weeks.
18.
Oh no, the players
No,
haven't.
it's not in the. Yeah, it's not in there.
And that
Okay.
was a 10-year contract, Scotty. That was a 10-year contract, so it's 10 years before
Okay.
they go to 18.
Look, if they don't make the playoffs and even go 10-7, I think he's gone. I think that again, you have to play up to your competition, and if they're not good enough for the playoffs, I don't think it matters. I don't think the record matters either. I mean, go get it somewhere else.
Well, I think it would be hard. I don't think Kraft fires him if he wins 10 games. If there's a fluke and they win 10 games and don't get to the playoffs, I don't think he'll fire him.
Yeah, they haven't bottomed out. Most teams will bottom out. Look at all the good teams right now. They all bottomed out not that long ago. This has been a competitive rebuild where they're playing 500 while they rebuild.
Could it also be
Kraft has to be happy with that. That's probably a half dozen games they wouldn't have won if they would do any other team.
Would it matter, guys, on how they lose? If they lose,
Yeah, right.
7
Of
games?
course, if they lose, yeah. I mean, if they go 10-7 and they lost 2 fluky games,
they were poorly
it's one
coached.
thing, right? But if they go 10-7 and 3 of the wins were fluky because they played backup quarterbacks, that's going to feel different, right?
Yes.
So, but
It doesn't look like they're getting that kind of schedule this year.
But we all agree that he is on the hot seat.
I think he's. I think he's. The seat is warm. I definitely agree with
Warmer
that.
than it's been in 20 years.
7-10
Absolutely.
get them fired.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Right, Joe, would you agree?
Yeah.
7-10.
Now, I still don't see them. Kraft won't have the balls because I don't think he has anyone waiting in the wings.
Well, I thought his
Judge.
Mayo. Is there?
He's got Bill O'Brien and Jared
Yeah.
Mayo. I mean, I think he's got 2 guys waiting in
Yeah.
the wings at this point.
Yeah.
Was it quid pro quo thing with Mayo that he's the next coach?
They gave him something to stay. I don't
They
know
did
what it
give him
was.
something to stay. It was money. Could have been money too. They could have just
Yeah.
given him a lot of money, right?
You think, with the idea that he
Yeah.
figures he's going to be a coach. Also,
Yeah,
they wanna make-
right.
but they want to make sure if he leaves, that he goes for a head coach position and they pick up 2 third-round picks.
Yeah, even better, right? Yeah.
Right? I
If
mean,
he does. Yeah, I don't know, but they got a couple guys they could go to, as the Celtics do. I think I think it's going to be a close call, Joe. If does Kraft have the balls to actually fire Bill Belichick? But 7-10 to me does it, but I don't think he gets fired at 8-9 or 9-8. I think he'd have to go at least 7-10 or worse to get fired. Yeah.
0-4. Would he fire Kraft? Would Kraft fire
No.
Belichick during the season?
No.
Not unless Belichick does something to blow himself up.
Oh, yeah. He would have to do something outrageous. I mean, along the lines of Bob and the strip mall massage powers, something along those lines. He's gone.
Well, we'll do pulling the Doka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have history of that.
Yeah,
That's my favorite
that does
guy.
not happen. Yeah.
That's my
It doesn't
favorite
happen
rumor
much
I've
in the
heard is
NFL.
that Jalen Brown is next year is getting traded to Houston to reunite with Ime.
Oh, for God's sake. Jack Jones, I'm shocked by this. They're just acting like these federal charges, which are very serious. They're mandatory. He's going away.
Yeah.
If they're able to somehow get Jack Jones to skate on these charges, it would be unbelievable. But he's with the team and practicing, and everything seems to be fine. What is your read on this?
Hey, if you got the right lawyers, you're out. Look at, like I just mentioned, Bob Kraft, with a dozen films of him getting a handy in a massage parlor.
Oh,
Yet
come
he
on, Joe.
walked,
That was
right?
all. That was all bull. Come
Oh
on.
yeah, and his lawyers got the cops for entrapment and everything else
That
and
was
wiped it out.
ridiculous. Now you can't compare those. You can't compare these.
Yeah, no, look, the Patriots have made the decision to basically say we're going to let the justice system adjudicate this, and we'll follow that. Now, there've been plenty of times in the past they didn't follow that, but in this case,
Yes.
they decided to, and I think it's because they really need a second cornerback, right? A number 2
Yeah.
quarterback. If
But
this
I
guy
think-
was the fifth safety on the team, Scotty, do you think he'd be in camp?
Oh, if
Well,
it was
he
Miles
is the
Bryant,
fifth
he'd be
corner on
gone.
the team.
Miles
He's the
Bryant
fifth
would be
He'd be
corner.
gone.
gone. Gone.
He's the fifth corner on the team, though.
No, he's not. He's the second corner.
He's a
No,
starter.
that's
the
Jonathan
second
is the second corner.
No,
Marcus is
Jack
the third
Jones.
corner, and the kid from the Eagles is fourth.
Who's
Brian.
the first?
The new kid, Gonzalez.
Oh,
No,
no.
Jack Jones is
no.
Jack
The
Jones
two
was-
outside
was-
guys. The two outside guys are 1 and 2. That's Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones. Marcus
Jack
has
Jones
played
was
the outside
playing-
too. Jack's not
Jack-
playing on
Jack-
the outside.
Jack Jones in the earliest camp before he got banged out, he was playing outside number 2 corner, Joe.
That was before the draft pick.
Yeah,
Now he's
before.
been
Right, but
now
that's my
he's been
point.
he's been second team.
No, I understand that, but my point is, if he was Miles Bryant, to Scotty's point, this is Miles Bryant, he wouldn't be on the field right now for the Patriots.
Be gone.
I don't know. They're
gone.
similar guys. He's not Marcus. He's not Jonathan. He's
Look,
Jack.
the only thing about this is it's a victimless crime. There was no victim. That's very important. Nobody got hurt in the crime he committed. That is easy.
But there is mandatory sentencing in
No,
this.
there is, but I'm telling you, that's why I thought they would cut him right away. They're gonna do something that you can just see something's brewing.
Remember
They're not-
Plaxico Burress shooting himself in the bar in New York, since they had that automatic 1 year for having a gun?
Yeah,
He was cut immediately and he had to go do the
and
year.
they wanted to get rid of him. They were fine to move off him, the Giants. This guy, they don't want to move off of. Like Russ's point, I mean, this guy is a
Oh,
potential.
they
star
need
for-
the depth at corner until they find someone else.
Look,
They need the
would
depth.
you agree with this statement? The Patriots believe that Jack Jones will be on the team this year. That's why he's practicing,
Yep.
Has to be.
right? So, and Bill
Yep.
Belichick has addressed it, and he said he's out there. He's practicing. He doesn't seem to be unhappy about it.
Yeah, they always carry like 6 corners. They carry a lot of corners because those little guys get hurt a lot.
You hear what was it? Was it Gesicki or Hunter Henry? I think it's Gesicki today said that, he's trying to be, he knows that the Patriots love their tight ends, especially
Aaron
the
Hernandez.
2 legends, Hernandez and Gronkowski. He called it. Look at Russ. He
He'd
called
like
Aaron
to take that
Hernandez
back.
a legend in this town.
What the
Somebody
hell,
tell him.
dude?
Oh my! Maybe we can send him the
You
Netflix
can tell he's not
documentary?
he hasn't been around here a lot. He's new.
Oh my God! Have you not read The Room? Holy, really? And that comes off the heels of the story with his
Can you
brother.
imagine Stacey James there, the PR guy? He
Oh
must
my-
have been choking.
That comes in the heels of his brother being arrested for.
Yeah.
I mean, his brother
Wanting
wanted
to
to
shoot up a school?
multiple ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Crazy.
What was his motive? Did they ever say there was any motive for that?
no, he's insane. Was there ever a motive for insanity? Ever?
I think he
But
just,
why was he wanting to shoot up kids?
I don't know.
he's got serious mental problems. I mean,
Yeah.
he's broken.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you. It's my issue here. I should have started with the main story, and that I apologize because I always end with the Bruins. But the big story this week was Patrice Bergeron
Yeah.
retiring. We'll give this to Russ. Russ has always expressed
The eulogy.
his
Yeah.
love for this guy.
Wow.
Russ, tell you what has Patrice Bergeron meant to the Bruins in this city?
I mean, for me, he was just the epitome of what you want a star athlete to be in a sports town over a long period of time, right?
Yeah.
Like, he handled himself with dignity. He performed well year after year after year. He performed well in almost every playoff series, other than this last one, unfortunately, but he was clearly injured. He always said the right thing. He never made a mistake. He had some unbelievably clutch moments. The coming back against the against Toronto. And look, this last year he stepped up when he saw something going really wrong with the Bruins and this Mitch Miller thing, and said, "This is not how we do things here." Now, you could ding him for, maybe he was part of the thing that got Cassidy out of town, but you cannot have a more representative career than that guy did out of somebody you want to be a role model and a star athlete. Period.
First guy on the ice and the last guy on the ice every
Oh my
game.
God. Kidding me?
If we're doing a Mount Rushmore of Bruins,
He's number 4.
it's Orr. It's
Espo, Bork, and him.
wow, that's interesting. I think it's Espo too. I agree with you. I mean, I think it's Orr and Espo out of that 70s group.
And Ray Bork and Bergie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
All right.
I don't see anyone else even close. I'm not a
I mean, I know.
Chara.
I
I'm not a
agree.
Cam
I mean,
Neely guy or a Terry O'Reilly guy like
Yeah.
Tim is.
Well, Chara would be.
And-
I think Chara would be.
Chara's a worthy to be in the conversation.
But I mean, he didn't spend 20 years. I mean,
Exactly.
This kid spent 20 years in Boston. He came here. He didn't speak any damn English. He was 18, 19 years old from Quebec, right?
Yeah.
There's only three players left in the NHL.
Yeah.
That came in with Bergie that is still there.
Yeah.
So what is he? Your favorite athletes in this town in your lifetime, Russ? Where does he stand?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's in that. I said this to you guys the other day. He's in a top 5 for me in terms of athletes whose careers I really saw. Right, I'm not going to include Bobby Orr because I saw the very, very tail end of his career. But Bergie, Orr, Ortiz, Pedro, and Brady, those are my 5.
Wow.
I saw their careers.
Joe, what's your 5?
Oh, it had to be that's tough. Russell or Poppy. I'm trying to get someone from each one. Brady.
Well, Brady,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but you saw them play. I didn't see Russell play a play,
he was tremendous.
and I didn't see. I saw Orr's my favorite athlete ever, but he wouldn't. I didn't see his whole career. Right?
Just think with modern medicine, what a career he would have had.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, I don't know about you, Scotty. Would you put him in your top 5?
No, it's Bobby Orr for me. That was my first love in sports, so I have to, replace Orr. I know you make a great.
And I would put John
put him in a
Havlicek
special
before
category.
Yeah.
I just put him in a special category. I would put Orr in a special category because I just didn't see. I mean, I just didn't see enough of his career. I'm talking about guys who I saw their entire career.
Well, I would argue, to be honest with you, just my personal opinion, if we're eliminating Orr for a minute, we're just putting him in that echelon. I would say I think he's the best Bruin, the second best Bruin of all time. I really do. I think Bork was a very nice player and a solid guy.
I do too.
Yeah. But but he didn't move the dial for me. And
I totally agree.
Oh, he's not a
Yep.
personal. He's not a personality at all.
I felt like he was, I don't know if he was overrated. He was just a really solid guy. To be honest with you, I put Bork and Yastrzemski in the same level. Yastrzemski
good
really
call.
had one
Yep.
good season in 67,
That's a
40,
good call.
1 year old. So, but there were solid 285 guys. You know, they hit, you know,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
they
for
were.
me, Joe, Havlicek and Yaz would be next. You know,
Havlicek just spanned three championships.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
He was just a incredible, better athlete than any of
yeah.
them. He was better
Yeah.
at the best athlete ever in the history of Boston by far. There's no one close to him in that sense. But
if you look at
and
how
he was a great ambassador for the sport. Gentlemen,
Yep.
just like him and
He was,
Bobby
yeah.
Orr are probably the finest off the court, off the ice people you could meet.
but the stat freaks would tell you, you know, obviously none of them saw the Havlicek play, that you look at his numbers, they're huge. They're incredible.
Yeah.
The numbers, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
so all that stuff. So, you know, he would get a lot of love just on the stat freak part.
Oh, he was just without the way he played without the ball was just incredible. He was just a perpetual motion machine. And he would go up against guys like Kareem and just battle them to the death. You know, it was.
I have to give love to one of my favorite players of all time is Kevin McHale. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean he's there.
I don't
in the
know how
top
much I
10
could
for
love
me,
an
too.
athlete more than I love Kevin McHale.
Yeah, he was great. He was great.
Yeah,
He
so
was great. He's in the top 10 for me. Yeah.
But
That's clothesline of all time there with
I don't know. The guy was
Kurt
just,
Ramos.
he was beautiful to watch, right? I mean, you know, Larry Bird was Larry Bird, but I came to watch McHale too. Oh my God.
Oh, 100 moves.
Well, I'm glad we got into the Bruins, and we can talk about Bergeron and all this the Mount Rushmore stuff.
Bergeron's going to be talked about a lot next year about how much they miss him.
Yeah. All right, well, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night at 7 p.m. for another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.